term is used like this. Sperm with X chromosome is called gymnosperm, whereas sperm with Y chromosome is known as androsperm. Gymnosperm, androsperm. If the gymnosperm participates in the fertilization, the result is female. Whereas androsperm, if it is participates in the fertilization, the result is that the male individual. So here, the male determining factor lies on the Y chromosome. So 50% sperms, they carry this Y chromosome, 50% they carry X chromosome. That's right. In natural population, the ratio between male female is 1:1. Right? Now see the neat type of questions. To have a male boy, the probability is half, 50%. Similarly, for a couple to have a girl child, the probability is 0.5%. Suppose the question may be like this. What is the probability for a couple to have two male children successively? Two male children successively means for one boy, the probability is half. For second boy also, it is only half. Means 1/4 or 25%. This is the answer. Similarly, for a couple to have 3 female children successively, the probability is half into half into half. So this is the probability. So this type of questions you may expect in the NEET examination. Now come to the birds, ZW, ZZ method. In ZW, ZZ method, the difference between XX, XY is here the female is heterogametic, producing 2 different types of ova, whereas males are homogametic. That is, all sperms are identical in their chromosomal complement. The egg that participate in the fertilization determine the sex of the embryo. Here, actually Z and W, these are nothing but X and Y chromosomes. Because we already used these symbols X and Y for previous methods, to avoid this repetition, we are using the Z and W. Actually, Z is equal to X, W is equal to Y. So these are difference. Means XX, XY method, exact reverse is the method of determination of sex in the birds. ZW, ZZ. ZW, ZZ is exact reverse to the Drosophila method or human method, XX, XY method. Right. So these are the 3 fundamental methods described in our syllabus. But actually, in Drosophila, according to our old textbooks, academic textbooks, we explain the sex determination according to Calvin Bridges theory, the genic balance theory. But don't touch this now. Our textbooks, they are actually following the NCERT, simply follow the NCERT textbook. The next one, honeybee method. Honeybee method is very unique method. Do remember, in honeybees, all chromosomes are only autosomes. No X and Y chromosomes. There are no sex chromosomes in honeybees. In insects like honeybees, wasps, the method of sex determination is haplodiploid. Haplodiploid method. Here, the ploidy of the chromosomes will determine. We know that in a honeybee colony, there are 3 different castes are present. Queen, worker, as well drones. Queen and workers, these are the females, whereas drone is the male. Queen and workers, they are diploid, whereas drones males are haploid with only 16 chromosomes, diploid 32 chromosomes. If the chromosomal complement is 2n, invariably it becomes a female. If it is haploid, it becomes, that is the drone, male. Our topic is sex determination, whether the developing zygote becomes male or female. Here we are not talking about the fertility, whether it is a sterile or fertile female, doesn't matter. Queen and workers are females. How this female condition is actually resulted, if the chromosomes are available in pairs, diploid, it's a female. If not haploid, it becomes a male. Now see the actual method of sex determination. Queens are fertile, which are 2n with 32 chromosomes. Drones, n is equal to 16. Already they are in haploid condition, whereas females, queens, are in diploid condition. That's why during gametogenesis, that is the oogenesis, meiosis or reduction division takes place. Because of this, each gamete will receive only 16 chromosomes. These are the X. As the drones are already in haploid condition, the spermatogenesis is by means of normal mitosis. That is, all the sperms, they carry 16 chromosomes. This is one unique feature where the spermatogenesis is by means of normal mitosis. Right. If the sperm fertilizes the egg, the resultant zygote, that is 2n, means 32 chromosomes, it develops into a female. That is, first the zygote develops into a larva. The larva of honeybees is called grub. The larva of honeybee, grub. If the grub feeds on royal jelly, then it becomes fertile female queen. If not, if the grub is fed with bee bread, but a normal honeybee, honey, as well the pollen grains, it becomes a sterile female, that is the worker. So here, fertility factor depends on the nutritional value of the food. Of course, that is different aspect. Now come to the how the drones are produced. The drones, this unfertilized egg directly develops into a grub. Then the grub automatically develops into a fertile male, that is the drone. Such a development of unfertilized egg into a male individual, this is what you call parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. Partheno means virgin. Genesis, that is the formation of progeny. Without mating or without male contribution, it is producing the progeny. That's why this is called parthenogenesis. In parthenogenetic development, there are varieties of methods are there. That is the orihinotoky, thelotoky, amphitoky, like this. Here, through parthenogenesis, the egg is developing into a male. That is the development of a male individual through parthenogenesis is called orihinotoky. Thelotoky. It is seen in some more other insects, thelotoky. In thelotoky, this embryo or the egg develops into female. This is called thelotoky. There are some insects are there, either they develop into male or female based on different environmental conditions, that is the amphitoky. But here, this is important. The drones are developed through orihinotoky, a type of parthenogenesis. And there is one more important aspect is there here. What is this say? For the formation of a male, there is no contribution of the father, male. That's why drones have no father, and also drones have no sons. Rest of the relatives are there. How this is possible? See this one. Drones have no father, no sons. This is very common statement. Now my question is that the drones are having maternal grandfather, paternal grandfather. Both are there? No. One is missing. Drones have actually drone is having mother. But drones have no father. Drones are having mother means mother is having her own mother, her own father. Means drones are having maternal father, but drones have no paternal father, paternal grandfather. Paternal grandpa is absent for the drones. So three relatives are missing for drones. No father, no sons, no paternal grandfather, but maternal grandfather is there. This is the irony of this technique. Then one more important thing, having some evolutionary significance here. Usually in XX, XY method, the progeny share 50% of their parental genes. 50% of parental genes, because the gametogenesis is by means of reduction division. Whatever the number of genes that are there, say for example, there are 100% genes are there in the female mother. 50% goes to one egg, remaining 50% goes to one more egg. Similarly, the genes present in the father, say 100%, because of reduction division, 50% of genes goes to one sperm, remaining 50% goes to one more sperm. At the time of fertilization, the gamete they fuse. So they restore 100%, but out of 200. The total number of available genes are 200, but progeny is getting only 100%. 100. That is total available genes 200. 100% from mother, 100% from father. But actually, because of fertilization, because of reduction division, the number of genes actually acquired, number of genes inherited, here only 100, means 100 by 200, that is only 50%. The progeny of XXXY method, they share only 50% of genes of their parents. This is very common. Means the siblings, suppose if it is siblings of a family, brother and sister, brother, sister and sister, they share 50% genes in common and 50% genes are not shared by them. There's always conflict is there between them. They are not totally alike, isn't it? But see, apply the same concept to the Drosophila. Honeybee. Queen. All the genes present in queen say considered as 100%. Drone. All genes together I am considering as 100%. Right? In queen, reduction division takes place during the oogenesis. Means each egg receives 50% genes only. Drones, the spermatogenesis is by means of mitosis. Means whatever the percent of genes that are there in the drone, all are inherent to the gamete, sperms. If fertilization takes place, the resultant one is female. But see what proportion of genes are shared by the female individuals. Total number of available genes 100, 100, 200. Then all 100% of paternal genes and 50% of maternal genes are inherited by the female. That is, out of 200, 150 genes are shared. Means 75% genes are in common. 75% of genes are in common. Okay. Now, what the specialty see? In normal XXXY method, male, female, or the progeny, they share only 50% of parental genes. But in the colony of a honeybees, the individuals, that the females, they share 75% of genes in common. And this is the basis for social life in honeybees and a very significant evolutionary aspect. Very significant. జనరల్గా మనం చూసే ఉంటాం ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ హనీ బీస్ thousands of workers are there, but only one queen is there. The queen alone fertile, which produces eggs, larvae, etc., etc. The only duty of the queen is simply laying the eggs, either fertilized or unfertilized. The rest of the things are taken over by the workers. They nurse the larvae, they feed them, they protect them, everything. Point is, why should these workers, they nourish somebody's larva? What is the purpose? What is the need? The secret is, as they are sharing 75% of genes among themselves, they feel that this is our family. This is our family. Because 75% genes are common, they feel together or they work together, and this is the basis for evolution of social life. Right? Colonial forms. So having very significant impact on the evolution of insects. So this is the specialty of this haplodiploid method of sex determination. This is very, very important. So here you are pretty well about all these things. I think one point is new to you. That is, the drones are also not having one grandfather. Who's this grandfather? Maternal or paternal? That is the paternal grandfather is also there. Then the females, they share 75% of genes in common. And this is the basis for evolution of social life. These two are very important things. Right? Now, I would like to also focus on the genetic disorders, and later I will touch the pedigree analysis. The genetic disorders are basically of two kinds. These are Mendelian disorders or monogenic disorders, and second one is the chromosomal disorders. These chromosomal disorders are also known as syndromes. Mendelian disorders, chromosomal disorders. Mendelian disorders are due to the mutation in the DNA mutations or gene mutations, whereas syndromes are due to chromosomal mutations. Chromosomal aberrations. So these are all single gene defects, but these are some defect in the chromosomes, either number or structure or arrangement, like this. Mendelian disorders are again divided into autosomal as well allosomal. Autosomal disorders are further divided into dominant and recessive. Allosomal disorders, actually X-linked, Y-linked. We are not having Y-related disorders. X-linked disorders are again two kinds, that is dominant and recessive. Chromosomal disorders, syndromes, are again two kinds, autosomal, allosomal. We can quote hundreds of examples for this, but if you go through our prescribed syllabus. Autosomal dominant disorder, myotonic dystrophy. Myotonic dystrophy, an excellent example for autosomal dominant disorder. Recessive autosomal disorders, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, etc. Sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, phenylketonuria are there in our syllabus. X-linked dominant, no examples are there included in the NCERT. X-linked recessive traits are there. That is color blindness, hemophilia. We can also add Duchenne muscular dystrophy, DMD. It is not there in the NCERT, but very commonly we say this one. So there are two kinds of dystrophies are there. One is the autosomal dominant myotonic dystrophy. Second one is the X-linked recessive disorder. So there are two forms of dystrophies are there. Come to the syndromes. Autosomal syndromes, best example is the Down syndrome. Allosomal syndromes, that is the Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. So these are the only disorders related to genetic disorders included our syllabus. So better to prepare thoroughly about all this. Let us see first, I would like to take this one, sickle cell anemia, a kind of autosomal recessive disorder. In textbooks, there are small diagrams are there, very, very important. This is the diagram. One thing, before going to the details, I would like to brief the structure of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin contains 4 polypeptides. This is a diagrammatic representation. Actually, hemoglobin is not like this. There are 4 polypeptides are there, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Total 4 polypeptide chains. Alpha polypeptide, alpha 1 polypeptide, alpha 2 polypeptide are entirely different. They are not identical. But beta 1, beta 2 are exactly same. These are identical polypeptides. The reason is the alpha genes are located on chromosome 16. This is chromosome 16. There are 2 genes are there. This is the HBA1. This is also HBA1. There are 2 alleles are there, which codes for alpha 1 polypeptide. Alpha 2 polypeptide genes are also located on the 16th chromosome, very near to the first one. These are HBA2, HBA2, 2 alleles. These 2 alleles, they code for alpha 2 chain, like this, right? For the synthesis of alpha 1, alpha 2, 2 genes, 4 alleles are involved. Now come to the beta chains. The beta chain genes are located on 11th chromosome, chromosome 11. This is the HBB, one allele. This is one more allele, HBB. So this is important. For the synthesis of one molecule of hemoglobin, how many genes are involved? Total genes, 3. What are these 3 genes? HBA1, HBA2 gene, HBB gene. There are 3 genes. How many alleles are there? The total number of alleles are 6. This is important. Number of genes involved in the synthesis of one hemoglobin molecule, 3 genes. Number of alleles, 6 alleles. Keep this in mind. Now, there are 2 disorders are mentioned related to hemoglobin, blood-borne disorders. One is the sickle cell anemia, SCA. Sickle cell anemia is due to some mutations within the HBB gene. Thalassemia, there are 2 variants are there, thalassemia A, thalassemia B. If alpha chains are affected, this is called thalassemia A. If beta chains are affected, this is the thalassemia B. So for thalassemia, both genes are involved. Let us see sickle cell anemia, a defect in the beta chain. Right. This is the beta chain gene at 6th position. This is a normal gene. The complementary strand is CTC. This is the beta gene at 6th position or 6th codon. GAG complementary CTC. Of this is important. GAG, this part, this is the antisense strand or coding strand, whereas this is template strand, sense strand, or this is a template. The template strand here, the polymerase enzyme attaches and undergoes transcription, forming the mRNA. This part of mRNA codes for, that is G, that is T means A, again G. GAG is the triplet on mRNA. If the GAG is the triplet on mRNA at the 6th position, it codes for glutamic acid at the 6th position. And do remember, at least you have to remember 6 or 7 amino acid sequence on the beta chain, like this. These are the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh amino acids of beta chains. Histidine, proline, leucine, threonine, proline, glutamic acid. Right? This is the normal beta chain amino acid sequence. This is very, very important. You may expect like this. Find out the correct sequence of the beta chain up to 7th amino acids. They give different combinations. Ask your students to by heart this sequence. You must remember this sequence to identify whether it is a correctly mentioned amino acid sequence of beta chain or not. Minimum, they have to remember the 7 amino acid sequence correctly. This is the normal beta chain. Means our hemoglobin beta chain for all healthy persons. But because of a point mutation due to inversion, see what happened. Here, AT is there. It is simply inverted like this. Translocation. G, T, G. Just one point mutation makes a lot of difference. C, C. Now this is A. This template, when it undergoes transcription, right? Now the triplet on mRNA will be like this. G, instead of T, it is uracil. Again, G. A single nitrogen base alteration has occurred. If this is GUG, it codes for valine at a 6th position instead of glutamic acid. Now the sequence is histidine, proline, LT P instead of G, it is VG. Histidine, proline, then the leucine, threonine, proline, instead of glutamic acid, valine, again glutamic acid. So this is the sickle cell hemoglobin. The difference lies only at one point. That's all. This results in the sickle cell anemia. All these are important. What is the actual triplet? What is the actual codon on the sixth position of beta chain? GAG. What is the alteration in the codon of the gene at sixth position? GTG. The corresponding mRNA sequence. For normal healthy people, it is GAG. For sickle cell people, it is instead of GAG, it is GUG on mRNA. And the sixth portion, glutamic acid is substituted by valine. This is the actual chemistry involved in the formation of sickle cell anemia. But thing is, because of just one amino acid alteration, why should the RBC undergo some structural modification? We know that our RBCs are biconcave, whereas the sickle cell anemics RBC is compressed and like sickle. What is the reason for this? Right? I will explain. See, in sickle cell anemia, SCA, there is no defect, there is no any decrease in the synthesis of hemoglobin. Means this is only a qualitative defect, not quantitative. Defect in the quality, but not in the quality. It is only qualitative defect. So this defective hemoglobin under low oxygen tension, it cross-links with the cell membrane of the RBC. So millions of molecules are there. So finally compresses the cell membrane, it becomes sickle-like. Because of interaction of this defectively functioning hemoglobin with the membrane at low PO2. But there is one important thing is there. See the genotypes. HbA. This is our genotype, normal hemoglobin. HbS, sickle cell anemic genotype. Now heterozygous individuals, HbA, HbS. One significance is there with heterozygous sickle cell anemics. What is this one? Even though they appear to be normal initially, but once they are exposed to low PO2, their RBCs also become sickle immediately. Initially, their RBCs are normal, but once they are exposed to low PO2, again the RBC becomes sickle-like. The remedy is immediately they are re-exposed to high PO2. Their RBC shape becomes normal, but only once. If they are exposed to low PO2 during second time, there is no say repair of shape of the RBC. Their RBCs, they become permanently sickle-like. So one chance is there. Then one more advantage is there. Is there any advantage with the mutant genes? Yes, sometimes even the mutant genes, they are having some survival value. One best example is heterozygous sickle cell anemics are having natural resistance towards the malaria. How this is possible? Why heterozygous individuals having one say mutant defective gene is having some advantages? Yes, disadvantage. The reason is generally people say that why can't plasmodium survives in the sickle cell RBC? So many things are there, like because it is sickle-like, there is no sufficient hemoglobin to feed. This is not the right. Plasmodium is extremely microscopic organism. Our RBs are sufficient to supply all nutrients, no problem. Instead of producing 10,000 say cryptozoites, they produce only 500 cryptozoites. What is there? They can continue their life cycle. How it provides resistance to malaria? This is the point. The point is because of this HBS, mean heterozygous individuals. In this genotype, the potassium gates present on the cell membrane, RBC membrane, potassium gates are always kept open. We have studied these gates on axolemma. Sodium voltage gated channels, potassium voltage gated channels, sodium leakage channels, potassium leakage channels, etc. And here potassium gates are always kept open. This is the one peculiarity in heterozygous conditions. Because of constant opening of potassium gates, the potassium goes outside. In cytoplasm, there is no potassium at all. And plasmodium can't survive in cytoplasm where there is no sufficient potassium. It simply dies. This is the reason. And having one evolutionary significance, because of this defective hemoglobin gene or allele, the people are having natural resistance to malaria. For example, take say in remote African countries, there is no medical facilities, and malaria is the most dangerous disease for them. Once malaria attacks, the entire village simply dies. But people who are having this sickle cell anemia heterozygous condition, they will survive. Means this allele has saved the entire population. Rest of the fellows means this type of normal genotypes will be killed. Heterozygous, means sickle cell anemics during the childhood also they simply died. But who will survive us? Only heterozygous will survive. So here this defective gene actually saved this village population. This is what you call genetic load or heterozygous advantage. Heterozygous advantage. Because of this advantage gene, the population has saved from this plasmodium. This is the greatest advantage. So this is something related to sickle cell anemia. Then thalassemia. Thalassemia, this is also a Mendelian autosomal disorder, but the difference between sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. In sickle cell anemia, the genes present on, that is the 11th chromosome are affected. Thalassemia has two kinds, alpha thalassemia, beta thalassemia. Alpha thalassemia genes are located on the 16th chromosome, beta thalassemia on 11th chromosome. These genes are get affected. Sickle cell anemia, here the shape of the RBC will change, but here no change in the shape of the RBC, normal. Second one, this is important. In sickle cell anemia, RBC count, no change. RBC count remains same. But in thalassemia, RBC count declines. RBC count declines. There is a rapid fall in the RBC. One more difference. Third one, sickle cell anemia is only one type, but there are two types are there. Two types of thalassemias are there. Then in sickle cell anemia, in heterozygous condition, HbA, HbS, one advantage is there. That is, they are having natural resistance against to the malaria, especially benign, malignant tertian malaria, the cerebral malaria, the most severe form of malaria, malignant tertian malaria, which is very common among Africans. whereas there is no such advantage, no any advantage, no any advantage, no chances, right? In sickle cell anemia, hemoglobin is actually this is only a qualitative. This is a qualitative defect, whereas this is a quantitative defect. Quantitative defect. That is defect in the synthesis of hemoglobin molecules, or that is the polypeptide molecules itself, because there are 6 alleles are involved, like this: HbA1, HbA1, HbA2, HbA2, HBB, HBB. Total 6 alleles are there. Suppose one allele is mutated, that proportion of alpha chain synthesis is affected. Something like this. Now the hemoglobin will be like this. Nearly 25% of hemoglobin molecules are not having the alpha first chain. If number of mutations that goes on taking place, the number of polypeptide synthesis also declines, like this. So this is a quantitative defect. More the number of genes are mutated, more the polypeptide chain synthesis is affected. So this is a quantitative defect. Actually, in NEET examination, you may expect this type of questions. They give one tabular form, put say A and B. They write certain features. Finally, they ask what is A refers, what is B refers, like this. So we have to make a list of all these things. This is a quantitative, this is qualitative. There is one more thing. Thalassemia A, thalassemia B. In thalassemia A polypeptide chain synthesis is affected, means B chains are predominant numerically. Thalassemia A patients, here RBC contains more number of beta chains. In thalassemia B, here the RBCs are predominated with alpha chains. Here alpha chains are more. In thalassemia A, beta chains are more. In thalassemia B, alpha chains are more in number. This is the simple indication. But in sickle cell anemia, there is no such things. Right? You ask your students, very common question. Most of the students, not most, 100% student, their answer is wrong. One RBC contains how many hemoglobin molecules? The immediate answer from your students is 4. I am asking this question since the day 1 of my career. Each time I get the same answer. You try it. One RBC contains how many hemoglobin molecules? Everybody shouts 4, sir. Who told you this? This is 4. Why it is imprinted, I don't know. But the exact reason. Actually, one RBC contains minimum 38 to 42 million hemoglobin molecules. This is that to approximate number. More than this. One RBC contains 38 to 42 million hemoglobin molecules, but not 4. Then why students always give this answer? Because one hemoglobin can combine with 4 oxygen molecules. This 4 is imprinted in their brain. To try this question, definitely you'll get your answer 4. Please make a correction to your students. If this question appears in NEET, 99.99 students of India, they go for this option. Right? This is wrong. So these are sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. Then come to the...
Varma 1 minute, sir.
Quickly, I would like to finish the syndromes.
Varma hello? Varma
The syndromes are due to aneuploidy. Aneuploidy means failure of separation of chromosomes during meiosis, during gametogenesis. Right? Suppose this is a 44XX normal female. If the non-disjunction takes place during oogenesis. Autosomes are equally distributed. Then, instead of separation of the sex chromosomes, both of the X chromosomes will end up with one ovum, whereas no X chromosome here. Anybody?
వర్మ గారు
బాగున్నారా? టైం
ఆ.
అయిపోయింది
వర్మ గారు
సార్.
మరి మనకి
Yes,
వర్మ గారు
dear
వర్మ
learned
గారు
lecturers,
వర్మ గారు
because of already this is a high time and our management asked to stop
తెలుసండి
here and I will continue tomorrow. And now this is a tea. Have your tea. Thank you very
వర్మ
much.
గారు
Right.
వర్మ గారు am I audible ఎలా వెళ్తాను ఎందుకు వాయిస్ okay all dear lecturers now we have a tea break and next session will start thank you
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? My voice is clear. Good evening, all of you. Good evening, all respected teachers.
Hello, Mr. Sir. May I audible? I'm Dr. Bhavana here. Mr. Are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 minute, Mr. Ji, 1 minute. They went for this break. I will call back.
Okay, okay, sir.
All the subject, all zoology subject people, please come in. Please complete your break and please come. Our resource person today already is there. Just 2-3 minutes, sir. Mr. Ji.
Okay, sir. I can wait for 2 minutes. No problem.
2 minutes. Right.
Okay, sir.
మా అదృష్టం ఈ టైంకి వచ్చి రిటైర్ అనుకోకుండా సెకండ్ పంపించారు. ఇది పై చేసుకోవాలి మన శ్రీకాకుళం ఇది. All the lecturers are requested to attend this class quickly, please. Narayana session, complete. And groceries. All the lecturers are requested to assemble quickly, please. The principals, please coordinate.
Good evening, everyone, once again. Good evening, all respected teachers, Dr. Bhavana sir, I want to say thanks to Dr. Bauguna sir. I feel very privileged that you allowed me to speak in front of so many knowledgeable teachers. So
Yes,
today,
it is not like that, Mr. G. It is, we are very fortunate that you have given us a lot of time. And
thank you, sir.
Dhanashree Madam is also, I think, morning also she's discussing with us. Very great. So
Thank you,
our
sir.
lecturers are experts in the intermediate education, but intermediate teaching, but not in the objective way. And here today we have Mr. G, who is expert in zoology in Gosalites from here in Vijayawada. And please utilize his services and take his help to motivate our students in objective methods. Thank you, Mr. G. Please have
Thank you, sir.
a good interaction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, respected teachers, today I'm not going to teach zoology. Today I'm going to teach how to teach zoology for NEET students. I'll not cover whole chapter exactly here. Two chapters are marked: human reproduction and uh, reproductive health. But exactly, I'm not going to cover reproductive health and reproductive system of human here. Exactly one topic I'll pick and I'll explain how to teach that topic for NEET students. So let's start. Exactly in this chapter, okay, topic, exactly two chapters I've taken: human reproduction and reproductive health. Human reproduction, what topics are there to teach in NCERT? Exactly points are mentioned here: the male reproductive system, female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, parturition and lactation. It is in human reproduction, first chapter. Second chapter for our today's discussion is reproductive health. In reproductive health, these are the key points in NCERT, what we need to explain to intermediate students for NEET exam. And especially from these two chapters, just 4th of May, 5 questions are asked. That's why I used this chapter. That's why I've taken this chapter as discussion point. Total of 5 questions, 4 questions from human reproduction and 1 question from reproductive health it is asked. So on an average of every year, 5 to 6 questions are asked. So it is a very important, you can say, chapter for students and a scoring chapter also. So how to teach this chapter to students? One topic I'll explain. Okay, from both the chapters I'll take. Here in reproductive health problems and strategy. Then population explosion and birth control. These are the topics. These are the points what we are going to cover in main class, in intermediate classes. Okay, then medical termination of pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, and infertility. All these are challenges for present day society to explore in human reproductive health. I'll start with human reproduction chapter, human reproduction. One topic I'll pick to explain here, only and only menstrual cycle. If extra points, if extra topics, any one of you you want to discuss, you want to ask, yes, I can. We'll discuss together. So first I'll take one point from human reproduction, that is menstrual cycle. First we'll discuss how to teach, how to explain menstrual cycle to intermediate students. To explain menstrual cycle, first of all, to explain menstrual cycle to intermediate students, we need to explain human anatomy. Human anatomy, female reproductive system. To explain where it occurs, how many days it is, what the points are important to remember for NEET examination. Respected teachers, what it is challenge in class is limited knowledge and over exploration of topic. Both it is not required. If limited knowledge we have or less knowledge, less than NCERT books, okay, then we can't explain our topic. If over explored any topic is there, means in NCERT little required and we are exploring, we are explaining in detail, very vast, then also it is not required. Then also it is not good for students, not good for time management. So how to explain in short time what it is given in NCERT? that we are going to discuss here. One more thing about NCERT I want to say here. I've studied from NCERT only, NCERT colleges only. So when our professors, they used to write these books, NCERT books, they used to say one line that NCERT book is not written for students, it is written for teachers, present day teachers. So why this line it is said at that time in early, I can't understand, sir, why you are saying this. NCERT book, it is written for teachers. Okay, so it was very much confusing for me earlier. But when I started reading NCERT books, so yes, it is very clear that NCERT book is not written for, I'm saying not written for students, it is written for teachers, that what to teach. Only points are mentioned in NCERT, and we need to explain in class that yes, this line, this detail, this line, this word, this detail. Few examples I'll take here. For example, menstrual cycle, when I'm explaining, I need to take anatomy first. Anatomy, I'll explain. What is endometrium, what is uterus, what is fallopian tube. So let's start. Menstrual cycle in detail, I'll go. Before that, we need to explain what is uterus, uterus layers, fallopian tube, uterus shape, means uterus is pear shape uterus, then what is the size of uterus, what is the length of fallopian tube markings, fallopian tube areas. Teachers, respected teachers, you can use internet photographs or NCERT diagrams also. Sometimes NCERT diagrams are limited. Sometimes I'm saying, not always. Sometimes NCERT diagrams are limited in explanation. So you can use internet diagrams, books diagrams. In the last of this session, I'll give my views regarding recommended some of the biology books also, what it is available on internet or hard copies are available online. And many times trainee teachers or teachers, they ask, sir, what books you follow? What books or from where these images you have taken? So I've taken these images maximum from scientific standard books, not randomly from internet. Few images may be from internet, but maximum images, diagrams I've taken from medical books or reference books, not from random internet sources. So respected teachers, you also use these images, this type of images in class while teaching through smartboard, or when you're using projectors or blackboard also, you can use chalk and duster to draw these simple diagrams, not very advanced, not very critical one. So we need to explain uterus linings. Uterus linings, we can use this type of diagrams. For example, perimetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Then endometrium is the innermost lining. This upper area of uterus is called fundus. Then this is called body innermost lining, endometrium. Endometrium in NCERT, only one word written, endometrium. Okay, we need to explain, yes, endometrium, it is having two layers, two linings. Stratum basalis, stratum functionalis. Stratum basalis at base, stratum functionalis just above that stratum basalis. Stratum basalis is this one, and stratum functionalis on top of that. So when we explain this stratum basalis and stratum functionalis, all of a sudden they ask, sir, how two layers, what the function of basalis, what the function of functionalis? Basalis base layer, it will not undergo degradation or during menstrual cycle, it will not undergo degeneration, it will not undergo shading, but just above that, functionalis, it will undergo regular cycling, means destruction, again formation, destruction, again formation. So stratum basalis, functionalis. Then we need to explain what is birth canal. I'm not explaining here uterus and female reproductive system, just shortcut I'm explaining what we need to explain before menstrual cycle. Because menstrual cycle students may understand, but they can't relate it to anatomy and physiology. So basics of simple things regarding anatomy we need to explain. Then I'll jump to menstrual cycle directly. Menstrual cycle, how to explain? Here, point wise, I'm going to explain everything point wise. Menstrual cycle, here, main points starts. It is reproductive cyclic change. Reproductive, yes, it is related to reproductive system. Cyclic change means it repeats. Cyclic change in primate females. Okay, in classroom, we just say primate females or primate word we use. We don't give example. We don't say what is primate. We say cyclic change. We don't say, or we don't explain what is cyclic, why it is called cyclic. Okay, so it is reproductive cyclic change in primate females. Then a student may ask, sir, what is primates? So primate, we need to explain, primates are top mammals. Top, prime means top, on top, prime minister like. So primates are top mammals or most advanced mammals. So here are a few list of top primate mammals or primates, primata. Here a few photographs we can use. Okay, and it is not possible every time to share in class when smart boards, projectors are there, then only we can use this. But yes, more and more explanatory, more and more with images, we'll use our slides or explanations. More and more it will be clear to students. More and more it is clear to students, more and more quickly it will strike in their brain during question solving that what it is primates. Primate means students I've seen they're mugging up primata, what is primates. So this mugging up part, it will be slow down, it will come out that yes, no need to mug up, need to understand. Primate means top mammals. Then mainly three organs are involved. This is the most important topic, most important point in menstrual cycle, that how menstrual cycle operates. We just start that yes, it is menstrual cycle, this is hormone, here it works. So if we are including these three steps, these 3 points here, then yes, it will be very easy to explain menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, it involves 3 organs. First organ is pituitary. From pituitary, hormones, they are released. Which hormones? Pituitary, it is under the control of, I'll say that pituitary, it is under the control of brain, hypothalamus. So if it is under the control of hypothalamus, means hypothalamus is part of brain. So we can say that brain controls reproductive system. Yes, no doubt. Brain controls reproductive system either in male or in female. So hypothalamus releases GnRH. We need to explain that GnRH is responsible for puberty. This GnRH is only responsible for puberty. GnRH is absent in case of human body before puberty. When GnRH, it comes from hypothalamus, it acts on puberty. Okay, sorry, it acts on pituitary gland during puberty. Then only pituitary gland releases FSH and LH. FSH and LH. So pituitary is under the control of hypothalamus. Pituitary controls ovary. How it controls ovary? Through FSH and LH. Most important, FSH, follicular stimulating hormone. Then students will ask, or we can ask to students, why it is called, why this hormone is called FSH? Why it is called follicular stimulating hormone? This word only it is having answer that yes, it stimulates follicles. What follicles? Ovarian follicles. Ovaries, they contain thousands of follicle at the time of puberty. Yes, at the time of puberty, I'm saying. In NCERT, it's written millions of follicle. Yes, that is also correct. When we'll read, then we'll understand that when it is millions of, when it is thousands of. When we are talking about puberty, yes, it is thousands of. When we are talking about embryonic development of female, yes, it is millions, couple of million word mentioned in NCERT. So couple of million follicles, they degenerate, they degrade, they undergo follicular atresia. Follicular atresia means follicular degeneration. Follicular degeneration, it occurs in whole life of female from embryonic development till menopause. But no need to go to in detail of that word. But here, pituitary controls ovary, ovary controls uterus. So how ovary controls uterus? Yes, when FSH and LH, it acts on ovary, ovary develops follicles. Ovary develops follicles. Ovary develops follicles. These follicles, they release principal female hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Principal means main. Okay, so many hormones are there. I'm citing only 2 main hormones, progesterone and estrogen. Estrogen and progesterone from ovary. And now these 2 hormones, they act on uterus. And uterus, endometrium, innermost lining, endometrium, it prepares for pregnancy. Okay, and when it prepares for pregnancy, the thickness of wall thickness of endometrium, it increases, and that is readiness for, that is receiving for, that is welcoming new embryo or embryo for implantation. If it doesn't happen, if there is no implantation, if there is no fertilization, if there is no pregnancy, then this endometrium undergoes shading. This endometrial shading is menstrual bleeding. So these all sequence wise we need to explain. This is not menstrual cycle explanation. This is just introduction. I just introduced menstrual cycle with three organs here: pituitary, ovary, uterus. Pituitary works on ovary, ovary works on uterus, or ovarian hormones, they work on uterus. Okay, then these 3 points done, introduction, basic introduction done. Then in a human, for how many days it is? It is 28 days. Then from student side, from mainly girl student side or many students, they may ask, sir, no, it is sometimes 32 days, sir, it is sometimes 24 days, sir, it is sometimes 27 days. We need to calm them. We need to just welcome their questions, welcome their words, but not to say that yes, it is correct. It is not correct. It is abnormality or fluctuations in menstrual cycle. We need to be always scientific in class. If we'll say in front of students multiple words, multiple objective words, then they'll be confused in exam. Sir said this also, sir said this also. Sir said this word also, this word also. Which one to follow? Which one to answer? And we need to follow exact NCERT lines, whether it is correct or wrong. Yes, many times, I'll say thousands of places, NCERT lines are, facts are, statements are wrong. Okay, one by one, yes, it is corrected. One by one, yes, it is rectified. But to solve questions, maximum teachers, maximum students, they get confused in this. Okay, whether to answer correct or to wrong. But clear-cut statement is, clear-cut, my advice is just to follow NCERT statement, exactly to NCERT. Because when there will be any claim from questions or from students, we can quote NCERT lines that yes, in NCERT this is written. Whether it is correct or not, when it will be rectified, then yes. But when it is not rectified, we need to follow that same. Okay, so one thing. So here in human, 28 days or 4 weeks. If in option, if in objective question, option is there, 28 days, 4 weeks, 24 weeks like this, and fourth option is 1 and 2 both. Yes, very simple, 1 and 2 both. If both options are there, 28 days, 4 weeks, and there is no option concluding 1 and 2 both, then that question framing is wrong. That question framed is completely wrong. Here statement, sorry. Here statement 1 and statement 2. Here statement or option 1 and option 2, both it goes to answer. So we'll follow the next. Okay, and these are the primates we discussed. Here pituitary gland, pituitary, it is under the control of GnRH hypothalamus. Pituitary releases FSH-LH. Pituitary hormones, they work on ovarian follicles. Ovarian follicles, they release estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone, it works on endometrium. Endometrium, according to that concentration, it grows and degenerates. Now, next part, how to conclude this to students' brain. Menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, it is of 28 days. Total 28 days, we can divide into 4 weeks. Hello, everyone. Respected teachers, this way we can explain, okay, and division wise, okay, we'll split into multiple steps and it will be very, very easy with hormones, with follicular stage. Yes, here only number of days are mentioned. With hormones, with number of days, with follicular stage, we need to explain menstrual cycle. So we can divide whole menstrual cycle into 2 parts: pre-ovulatory phase, before ovulation, ovulation se pehle; post ovulation, that is after ovulation. So what is ovulation? Day 14th is marked as ovulation. Day 14th is marked as ovulation. This part is called pre-ovulatory. This part is called post-ovulatory. Here 2 weeks, 1 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28. So here it is 2 weeks, here it is 2 weeks. So total of 4 weeks. One interesting fact, one very, very interesting fact. Pre-ovulatory number of days, pre-ovulatory phase number of days may vary. Post-ovulatory, it will be fixed. So what I said, pre-ovulatory, it is not always fixed. Means if any female, she is saying that my menstrual cycles are of 32 days. If any female, okay, she is admitting that, yes, my menstrual days are of 32 days, means menstrual cycle. So what is the number of, how many days it comes in pre-ovulatory and how many post-ovulatory? 16, 16. Normally student they answer, sir, 16 pre-ovulatory, 16 post-ovulatory. Wrong. 16 pre-ovulatory, 16 post-ovulatory, not possible. I said post-ovulatory phase, it is fixed 14 days, no 1 day more, no 1 day less, no 1 day more, no 1 day less. So this is fixed. This is going to vary, maybe small, maybe long, maybe short, maybe long. And variation in pre-ovulatory phase only fluctuates the number of menstrual cycle days. Means variation in short pre-ovulatory phase, long pre-ovulatory phase, whole menstrual cycle is going to be disrupted or not of 28 days. So if in objective question, it comes that in a female, 32 days, 32 days menstrual cycles are there, then how, on which day ovulation it occurs? On which day ovulation it occurs? Very simple, just subtract 14. If we'll subtract 14, it will come 18. So day of ovulation is 18. After 18 means here it will be 1 to 18 and this is exactly 14. So day of ovulation will be 18, not 14. If it is short menstrual cycle, instead of 32, if I'm saying it is 26, it is 26. So day of ovulation, it is going to be 12 and this side exactly 14. No change, no change. I think this type of concept clearance, this type of point clearance, it will be very much beneficial for students and they'll develop concepts with this. So this is pre and post ovulatory. In pre and post ovulatory, what it happens? In pre and post ovulatory, when we'll proceed more, so yes, I said three organs are there: pituitary, ovary, and uterus. Pituitary, ovary, and uterus. In the beginning, in the starting point of day 1, it is bleeding phase. How to say that what is bleeding phase or what is day 1 of menstrual cycle? How to say, yes, this is day 1 of menstrual cycle? How will say? So students, they answer, sir, when uterus, it starts developing, sir, this answer, that answer. So respected teachers, you can also ask this question when we are discussing this topic in front of students. Just ask this question, how you will calculate day 1 of menstrual cycle? What is day 1 of menstrual cycle? 99% of students, they don't understand this question, okay, or they are not able to answer this question. And answer is very simple. Day 1 of bleeding is day 1 of menstrual cycle. Day 1 of bleeding is day 1 of menstrual cycle. This is simple answer. But again, I'll say this is not ovarian change. This bleeding phase is not ovarian change. To understand this, we can use NCERT diagram, this one. This NCERT diagram, what I said may be confusing for someone. So during, you can focus this part, menses, during bleeding phase, exactly it is degeneration of uterus. Degeneration of uterus. When uterus it is degenerating, how we can say it is a starting of menstrual cycle? So bleeding phase is not related to this menstrual cycle. Bleeding phase is not related to what menstrual cycle it is operating, what menstrual cycle it is started. This bleeding phase, yes, mark my words, bleeding phase is related to previous menstrual cycle. Previous menstrual cycle, degenerative changes are visible during bleeding phase. Sorry. Bleeding phase, it is marker of beginning of menstrual cycle. But our main primary organ to explain menstrual cycle is ovary, not uterus. Ovary. when ovarian changes the start, it is day 1 of menstrual cycle. Yes, the starting point of ovarian cycle is day 1 of menstrual cycle. And here new follicles, they start developing. And new follicles, they start developing just due to increased FSH. So answer is, two answers are there. What it is visible, what it is not visible. What it is visible through menstrual bleeding, yes, female or doctors, they can diagnose. And what it is not visible externally, it is in body. Hormones, pituitary hormones, they increase abruptly, okay, on the day 1. Yes, FSH, LH very high on day 1, mainly FSH. Mainly FSH. So due to FSH, it is day 1. Yes, to calculate menstrual days or to calculate menstrual cycle number of days, we use day 1 of bleeding as day 1 of menstrual cycle. I think it is clear. So bleeding part is not related to this cycle. It is a degenerative change related to uterus from previous cycle, from earlier cycle. At that same time, day one, ovarian follicles developing due to FSH. So I'll go to this one here. During bleeding phase, it will be 1 to 5. I'm talking about uterus. Only uterine changes I'm talking about here. When bleeding phase is going on in uterus, no other changes. Then after, from 5th to 14th, this phase is called follicular phase. Sorry, it is called proliferative phase. What is called proliferative phase? Students, they'll ask this word, proliferative word, many times in class. Sir, what is proliferation? Sir, what is proliferation? Proliferation simple means growth. Growth of mass of cells, growth of cells, increased mass of increased number of cells. It is called proliferation. Scientific word for this is hypertrophy and hyperplasia. But hyperplasia word, student will not understand in one way or in quickly. We need to establish this word in their brain slowly. Hyperplasia, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, mainly hyperplasia. Hyper means increasing, plasia means size and number. Size also, number also. So here, this is bleeding phase. This is proliferative phase. I'm talking about only uterus, no ovary, no pituitary. And this is called secretory phase. This is called secretory phase. Again, come to NCERT diagram. Here in NCERT diagram, lower side, 4 words are there, and maximum confusion to students from these words only. Maximum. They can't relate, sir, what is secretory phase, what is follicular phase, what is luteal phase, what is proliferative phase. They can't relate. So the point is, when we explain these changes, these words in class, we must explain it is related to what? Menstruation. Menstruation is related to uterus. So menstrual changes are related to uterus. Follicular phase related to ovary. Follicular phase related to ovary. Luteal phase related to ovary. Secretory phase, follicular proliferative phase related to uterus. Secretory phase related to uterus. So now, if I'll explain this whole ovarian phase, this part is called follicular phase. Means hair to hair, complete it is ovarian change, what? Follicular change, follicular development, follicular phase, whole 14 days. So follicular phase, it is for day 1 to day 14. Follicular phase, and it is related to ovary. Then day 14 onwards or 15 to 28, it is called luteal phase. Corpus luteum it is formed. Follicular phase, luteal phase. Only labeling, only naming I'm explaining here. If same approach, first we'll explain these names or labelings to students, they'll confuse. they'll not understand. So we need to explain hormones. We need to explain how hormones they are working on uterus. So that also it will be there. So first, I'm concluding here for our discussion purpose, our discussion conclusion, that 15 to 28 it is luteal and it is related to ovary. If this way will explain, then they'll not confuse what is follicular phase, what is luteal phase. Then menstrual cycle days, menses from 1 to 5, menstrual or menses are bleeding phase related to uterus. Then I said 1 to 5 uterine change. Then 5 to 14 or 6 to 14 also we can write. 5 to 14 or 6 to 14 it will be proliferative phase. Means uterus proliferating. Uterus, what it degraded, uterine wall, endometrium, it is increasing again. Uterus wall, it is growing. Why it is growing? I'll come to that also. Wait. 5 to 14, proliferative phase. Proliferative phase is also related to uterus. So here very clear that 1 to 14 follicular phase and 1 to 5 menses, 5 to 14 proliferation. So can we write that follicular phase is equals to menstrual phase plus proliferative phase? And this is the main confusion area. Next area is very clear, that is 15 to 28 is called secretory phase. So luteal phase 15 to 28, secretory phase 15 to 28, exactly same. So yes, we can write luteal phase. This is also uterine change. So luteal phase is equals to secretory phase. Luteal phase is equals to secretory phase. Very, very clear. This is here main confusion area what student they face during objective question solving. So now hormone pathway, hormone how to explain. Hormones, how it works on endometrium, how it works on ovary. Okay, that I'll explain by the same diagram and cyclic changes. So here it is summary of days. First of all, these words. Now, why menstruation is called menstruation? It's a bleeding phase. Follicular phase is called follicular phase. Why? Follicular phase is called follicular phase because follicles are developing in this phase. Simple. Follicles are developing, so follicular phase. Sir, why it is called proliferative phase? Because endometrium, uterine innermost lining, endometrium is proliferating. Then, sir, why it is called luteal phase? Corpus luteum, it is growing, or corpus luteum is dominant. That's why it is called luteal phase. Sir, why it is called secretory phase? Yes, this secretory word, why it is used for endometrium? And maximum time students, they mark here again wrong. Secretory phase is not due to corpus luteum secretion. Secretory phase is due to endometrial secretion. Yes, endometrium secretes uterine milk. Here we can see these structures. These are endometrial glands. Yes, endometrial exocrine glands. These endometrial glands, they secrete uterine milk, nutritive substance for embryos, uterine milk. These uterine glands, endometrial glands, are developed due to progesterone-estrogen combination. Progesterone-estrogen combination, it promotes endometrial gland formation and their secretion. That's what we call secretory phase. So this part is called secretory phase. I think this one, it will be very much explanatory to students. Then I'll go to hormone. Hormones, how it works on endometrium sequence-wise. Now, day-wise, sequence-wise. And same line by line. I used to mark in students NCERT that FSH, day one. Here, main explanation for students. FSH D1, it will start working on developing follicles. Developing follicles means they'll increase in number as well as size. They'll increase here, no huge number of follicular cells, it will increase. Cell, not follicles, follicular cells. Follicles, they are fixed. Follicle number, it is not going to increase. So follicular cell, it will increase, and their size also, it will increase. So developing follicles due to FSH, and these developing follicles, they'll release estrogen. Estrogen, it will work. Progesterone line is down, so progesterone is not dominant here in this phase. And estrogen, it will work on endometrium. Estrogen is prominent hormone or main female hormone, dominant female hormone, and due to this estrogen only, endometrium, it grows. Second phase, here due to this FSH and again LH. Second phase, first phase done. Due to FSH, follicles developing. Due to follicles, estrogen release. Due to estrogen, endometrium growing. That much. Then due to LH, here LH, it works on follicle. Follicles, they rupture. Due to LH, follicles, they rupture. And this rupturing, it occurs on 14th day in a standard menstrual cycle. And the central cell called egg or called secondary oocyte, generally it is called ovum, but ovum word will not be correct. And in new NCERT, it is corrected also. It is not ovum, it is secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte stays only, it is ovulated. So this structure, it is ovulated. From ovary, it comes into fallopian tube. From fallopian tube, it goes to internal lumen of fallopian tube, ampulla region, where it is ready for fertilization. Ovulation day 14. Ovulation day 14. Then this ruptured structure, second phase complete. First phase FSH, second phase LH. Second phase LH. So LH, when it is highest or maximum, it is on 14th, and this process is called LH surge. LH surge is nothing but the huge amount of LH secretion from pituitary in female body. What it causes? Ovulation or rupturing of mature Graafian follicle. Then Graafian follicle releases this secondary oocyte in fallopian tube, and the ruptured structure, here blood, it is filled. Blood contains RBC. Facts I'm saying here. Facts I'm explaining here. So why it is? Student, they ask, sir, why it is initially red and then become yellow? Sir, why it is? How one red structure become yellow? So red, it is due to blood. Yes, blood capillaries. Blood capillaries, they pour RBC, and RBC hemoglobin content is there. This hemoglobin, it is destroyed, and hemoglobin, it get converted into bilirubin and biliverdin. Bilirubin, it is absorbed by these cells only. And now this structure, bilirubin, biliverdin, is light green and light yellow pigment. Due to this yellow pigment, this whole structure is looking like yellow, and yellow substance, we use the term lutein. So that's why this structure is called corpus luteum. Corpus means body. Luteum means yellow. Why it is called corpus luteum? Because it is yellow. Why it is yellow? Because of hemoglobin degraded into bilirubin, biliverdin. And hormone also called LH, luteinizing hormone. What it is responsible for corpus luteum formation, called luteinization. That's why hormone name luteinizing hormone, structure form corpus luteum. Here this corpus luteum, follicles, they release two hormones, estrogen and inhibin. Estrogen mentioned here, inhibin not mentioned. Main hormone, estrogen. Secondary hormone, inhibin. Estrogen, steroid hormone. Inhibin, proteinaceous hormone. Corpus luteum. Corpus luteum, it secretes mainly four hormones. Mainly four hormones. Estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, inhibin. Estrogen, progesterone, steroid hormone. Relaxin, inhibin, proteinaceous hormone. Estrogen, here it will be less. Estrogen graph, it will be less than progesterone. Progesterone dominant. In this phase, progesterone is dominant. So we call it progesterogenic phase also. Yes, luteal phase is also called progesterogenic phase. So corpus luteum releases 4 hormones. Now relaxin, estrogen, progesterone, role we can discuss later on, not in this portion. Relaxin inhibin. Relaxin relaxes endometrium and myometrium. It avoids contraction, and that is very much required for avoiding abortion. If relaxin is not there, then small contractions in myometrium may lead to abortion. So relaxin relaxes myometrium during entire pregnancy. At the end of pregnancy, relaxin relaxes pubic symphysis and cervix for birth. Means birth, it is due to relaxin also, and it is asked in NEET exam also that relaxin, it plays only role in relaxation of myometrium during pregnancy. No, relaxin, it is used for parturition also, during labor, during parturition, during relaxation of pubic symphysis and cervix, pubic symphysis and cervix. So relaxin here done. Inhibin, negative feedback. Respected teachers, estrogen, progesterone, inhibin, these 3 hormones, all these 3 hormones, they give negative feedback. Yes, estrogen, progesterone, inhibin. Inhibin inhibits. Inhibin gives negative feedback. And it came in NEET exam also. And in 4 options, yes, all 4 options are correct. In all given 4 options, all given 4 options are correct. In that condition, what we need to do, we'll discuss. So estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, inhibin. Yes, all except relaxin, it gives negative feedback. Inhibin, only negative feedback, no other role. Inhibin, mainly negative feedback. Now 2 criterias. After this, corpus luteum form, corpus luteum releases hormones. Now 2 criterias. If fertilization, if no fertilization. If fertilization, then what will happen? If no fertilization, then what will happen? If ova in fallopian tube, if it is fertilized, then embryo it will be formed. And if no fertilization, then that ova or secondary oocyte will be degenerated. Degenerated, and it will be discarded or it will be destroyed in fallopian tube only. Many teachers, they explain in class that through menstrual bleeding, yes, it is a very much important point, that not to say in class that menstrual bleed contains secondary oocyte or unfertilized eggs. Many books also it's written. So sorry teachers, it is completely wrong. Menstrual bleed never contains secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte, it is coming on 14th of menstrual day, 14th of menstrual cycle. So 14th till 28, it is not going to survive. If it is not fertilized, it is going to be eaten by, it is going to be phagocytosed by macrophages. So how that many books, even in Indian authors mainly, it is written, and many teachers, they explain in class, it is conceptually wrong. Sorry, respected teachers, don't say this in class. If anyone, you will say this, then answers are going to be wrong with students. So here ovulation day 14 and maximum 24 to 48 hours ova, it is having lifespan in female reproductive tract. Sperm, same 24 to 48 hours in female reproductive tract. It is approximate number, approximate days, not exact. So if fertilization, if not fertilization, then what it will happen? I'll use this slide to explain this. If fertilization it occurs, then zygote is going to form. Zygote, it is going to form placenta or early stage chorion, trophoblast cells. Trophoblast cells or chorion or placenta, any word we can use. It is going to release HCG. HCG is analogous hormone to LH, not homologous. Analogous hormone to LH. Yes, HCG is analogous hormone to LH. LH, it helped corpus luteum to sustain. And now HCG, it will help from embryo, from developing embryo, from developing placenta. HCG, it will come, human chorionic gonadotrophin. And it is marker of pregnancy. If HCG is there in female body, means pregnancy sustained, pregnancy received. If HCG not there, HCG not found in blood, not found in urine, then pregnancy not confirmed. So that's why in pregnancy test kit, HCG is used. It is one question. In exam, it will be asked in NCERT based objective questions. It is asked that which hormone is used for pregnancy confirmation test? Answer HCG. Another question. Which hormone is called pregnancy hormone? Different answer. Which hormone is called pregnancy hormone? Answer is progesterone. Progesterone is called pregnancy hormone. Progesterone maintains pregnancy. It is not that progesterone present only during pregnancy. Progesterone present non-pregnant female also, pregnant female also. So progesterone is responsible for maintenance of pregnancy. That's why I call pregnancy hormone. But here HCG is called pregnancy detection or pregnancy supporting hormone. It is similar to LH and it will support corpus luteum. Corpus luteum it will sustain and pregnancy it will be sustained. Corpus luteum it will give continuous progesterone. Continuous progesterone here. Continuous progesterone. Pregnancy maintained. If there is no pregnancy, no fertilization, then what it will happen? If there is no fertilization situation, second, then increased progesterone estrogen from corpus luteum. Yes, corpus luteum secreting progesterone estrogen. 21st day of menstrual cycle from here. This is 21st means after third week corpus luteum it will start degenerating. Yes, after 21st day or third week corpus luteum it will start degenerating. Why? Due to negative feedback of progesterone and estrogen. Progesterone and estrogen it will work on pituitary, negative feedback, and FSH and LH. FSH and LH it will go down. FSH and LH arrow down means supporting hormone LH and FSH decreasing means corpus luteum is not going to survive. Slowly corpus luteum. Condition 1, condition 2. Condition 2, corpus luteum will be converted into corpus albicans, Ca. Corpus means body, albicans means white fibrous body it will be converted into. So yellow secreting body into white fibrous body and it will be dispersed into ovarian mass. So this is the way I used to explain. This is the way I used to give points. Not each and every tool, not each and every point I've covered here because short class and I need to discuss questions also with you people. So here this is hormone part, how hormone increasing, decreasing that I've written. Proliferative phase, it is related to uterus. Estrogen phase, it is related to ovary. It is called pre-ovulatory, it is called post-ovulatory. Like this we can explain. Hormones we can summarize. Okay, what is the function of estrogen? What is the function of progesterone? What is the function of relaxin? What is the function of inhibin? Means my point is, two students, if they want to answer neat objective questions, each and every word of NCERT, we need to do surgery. We need to do detailed study. Only NCERT I'm saying. Related to NCERT. Yes, full marks possible. Yes, 360 possible. At least in zoology, what I know, all questions are possible to solve with NCERT. Nothing extra we need to cover. Means no extra books required. For teachers, extra book required, not for students. If we explain concepts related to NCERT, from NCERT lines we are picking and we are explaining it in class, yes, everything covered. So here, few questions we can discuss based on human reproductive system. Okay, for example, menstruation only occurs if menstruation only occurs if implantation has occurred. No. If implantation is there, then there'll be HCG. HCG it will never allow next menstrual cycle. Means HCG it will continue the pregnancy and there'll be no FSH LH from pituitary, no FSH LH from pituitary, no new follicular growth, no new menstrual cycle. Released ovum is fertilized? No. Okay, the released ovum is not fertilized. Yes. If ovum is not fertilized, then new cycle. Then it will lead to next cycle. If it is asked, tertiary follicle is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity called, very simple question. So for this question, we need to understand, we need to know folliculogenesis. What is folliculogenesis? Follicular development in ovary, and that is exactly related to menstrual cycle. So here, primordial follicle is there, then primary follicle, then secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, and then mature Graafian follicle. This is primordial follicle. Primordial follicle. I'm not saying for all teachers, but many teachers, they miss this primordial follicle in class. They don't explain, they directly jump to primary follicle. Then is 1 degree follicle, primary follicle, then secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, and then mature Graafian follicle. These two follicles, tertiary and mature Graafian follicles, they contain antrum. They have antrum. That's why these are called antral follicles. These two are called antral follicles, and these are called pre-antral follicles. Primordial follicle, primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, mature Graafian follicle. Then question it comes that how we can gather these points, that what it is mentioned in NCERT or not mentioned in NCERT, because in NCERT primordial follicle word not mentioned. So how we need to know this, how we need to explain it to teachers, students. Point is to cover, to read good standard world level books, not Indian author books. Indian author books, they do copy paste. So I'll advise to my fellow members, to my respected teachers, please follow standard books. For few points, for few topics we can follow, we can go for Indian author books, but maximum time what I've found that they are conceptually wrong, they are theoretically wrong, they are having lots of controversial lines in that, and that same will develop in our teaching. So I'll prefer not to go with that. I'll prefer to go with standard books. Primordial follicles, and this one is primary, secondary, and tertiary and quaternary or mature Graafian follicle contains antrum. So here it is asked tertiary follicle, so answer it will be antrum. Then in continuous menstrual cycle, the menstrual phase comes after which phase? So if menstrual cycle, here it is, this is pre-ovulatory, this is post-ovulatory, this is menstrual phase. So in a continuous menstrual cycle, menstrual phase, it comes after luteal phase, or it comes after, here it is, secretory phase. Luteal phase, secretory phase. Luteal phase with respect to ovary, and secretory phase with respect to uterus. So luteal phase, secretory phase, 2 and 3 both. Answer fourth. Answer fourth. I think this approach, it is clear. In the ovary of a healthy human female, mature Graafian follicle is generally present around. Mature Graafian follicle is generally present around number of days it is asked. So 5 to 8th day of menstrual cycle, mature Graafian follicle. 11 to 17th, 18 to 23rd, 24 to 28th. Healthy human, female is healthy. Mature Graafian follicle is generally present around 11 to 17 days. 11 to 17. It is close. Means if she is menstruating for more number of days, then it may cross from 14 to 17. But 5 to 8 not possible, because 5th day of menstrual cycle, just bleeding phase over. In ovary, there will be no chance, there will be no criteria to develop mature Graafian follicle. So most appropriate answer here will be 11 to 17. Then the release of ovum occurs during which phase of menstrual cycle? Very easy answer. Follicular phase, not possible. Proliferative phase, proliferation going on in uterus, not related to. Secretory phase, it is related to post-ovulatory phase. So answer it will be ovulatory phase. All copulation not lead to fertilization and pregnancy. Yes, correct. Choose the correct reason for the same from the following options. Here few options are there. Fertilization can only occur if sperm are transported to ampullary isthmic junction before ovum. No. Ovum and sperm, both they meet at same place, same time, then only it is possible. This is from old NCERT, means 3 to 4 editions old NCERT. There in NCERT, ampullary isthmic junction word mention. New NCERT, it is updated as ampullary region. Both are correct, but I'll say both statements are correct, but I'll go for this one, ampullary region. Ampullary region is more accurate. So new NCERT it is updated, but suppose any question ampullary region word is not mentioned. Yes, we can consider this one also correct, but this statement is not correct. This is first statement is not correct. Second, fertilization can only occur if ovum and sperm are transported simultaneously. Yes, together simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic junction or ampullary region. So ampullary region I've added. Okay, it is PYQ, old question based on old NCERT lines, but there I've added this extra word ampullary region. So correct answer is 2 only. Let us read this third statement also. Fertilization can only occur if ovum is transported to ampullary isthmic junction before all sperms. Not possible. None of these earlier in NEET exam it is asked, but nowadays any question with none of these options not coming. All of these may be there, all of these options are there, but none of these options are discarded, that no question it must contain none of these options. None of these, earlier it was there, but now this type of options are deleted, not there. So we can discuss next question here. Assertion reason. Assertion reason, maximum time student they face challenge. Maximum time means out of 10 assertion reason, 9 they'll say, sir, it is tough. Sir, how to solve this? I use two approach. I used to follow two approach for students. First approach, read assertion, cover reason area. Reason in your question paper, cover it with your hand, and frame assertion, reason in your brain. Frame statements to explain assertion, that what statement, what word, what concept, it will explain assertion or it will be related to assertion. And then again uncover the reason, check whether it is matching with your words or not, whether it is fulfilling your demands, your framed statements demand or not. If yes, then go with yes, it is correct explanation. So here, assertion, during pregnancy, all events of menstrual cycle stops. Yes, assertion is correct. In the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates. Yes, in absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates. Both assertion and reason is correct, but reason is not related to, not explanation, not related to assertion. Because when I'll read assertion, during pregnancy, all events of the menstrual cycle stop. Yes, it stops due to negative feedback of progesterone, estrogen. Progesterone and estrogen gives negative feedback to pituitary. FSH, LH stops. No new menstrual cycle. And this line, what I said, reason, not mentioned here. In the absence of fertilization. In the absence of fertilization means just opposite to this. Here pregnancy discussed. Here opposite to pregnancy. No fertilization discussed. So both statements are correct, but not correct explanation. Both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not correct explanation of assertion. Like this. One more assertion reason question. Parturition is complex neuroendocrine mechanism. Reason, yes, that signals of parturition, it starts from fully developed fetus and placenta. Fully developed fetus and placenta, when they do changes, when they do marked changes in female body or uterine area, then only parturition starts. Then only parturition begins. So exactly hormonal changes, endocrine changes, and reflexes in mother body, that is neuroendocrine changes. Due to fully developed baby, fully developed fetus, head region, it is large, and when it strikes mother's internal uterine wall or muscles, they send signal to hypothalamus, neural signal. So yes, it is explaining fully developed means fully mature, then only neural signal possible. And placenta endocrine part. Placenta fully when it is developed, then only progesterone decreases, estrogen increases in mother or placenta. Progesterone decreases, estrogen increases. Then only parturition possible. So yes, both these lines are correct. And reason is correct explanation. So I'll go with both assertion and reason true, and reason correctly explains the assertion. Here one more question, and the same question it came in NEET exam also, May 4th 2025. Same question, and it is NCERT exemplar question, and same question we discussed in class also. That is sperm head match the following type question. So I'll start with sperm tail. Sperm tail, it is responsible for sperm motility. Acrosome, it contains enzyme. Middle piece, energy, and sperm head, genetic material. So A to 4, A to 4, this one matching, B to 3, both matching, C to 2, C to 1, C to 1 here, third. So third is the correct answer. Even we don't know this type of questions, as the following question, we don't know. Students, they don't know all of these related topics. Means out of these four points, even they know 3, yes, they can solve correctly. In maximum cases, 99% cases, it is possible if confusing options are not there. So maximum time this type of questions possible when we go with what we know, that matching. If we know these 3, I don't know this one, then yes, then also. Like this. For example, last year NEET exam, one question came related to systematic lupus erythematosus disease. And that is not mentioned in NCERT. One autoimmune disease, systematic lupus erythematosus disease. And yes, that question easily can be solved with any student. Okay, when they have idea about other options when they matched, yes, answer came correct. Now few PYQs we are going to discuss here. First is here that the secretory phase in human menstrual cycle is also called, just now we discussed, secretory phase is also called luteal phase, and it lasts about 13 to 14 days. It is called luteal phase and lasts about 13 days. This one is appropriate answer. Third one is C is appropriate answer. Then we can go to match the following again. Match the following, very simple. Leydig cells, androgen, placenta, it is human chorionic gonadotrophin, zona pellucida, layer of ovum, bulbourethral gland, lubrication of penis. So like this, we can A to 2, A to 2, one option only, B to 3, B to 3, correct answer. So for quick question solving, few things required. Which is the following hormone levels will cause release of ovum ovulation in Graafian follicle? High concentration of, low concentration of LH, low concentration of FSH, high concentration of estrogen, high concentration of progesterone. Answer, high concentration of estrogen. High concentration of estrogen, it gives positive feedback. Here one concept, it is hidden. Positive feedback to LH. And high concentration of estrogen, positive feedback to LH, and due to LH, ovulation. Exactly LH not mentioned in question, that exactly ovulation it occurs due to LH, but LH not in any of the 4 options. Then what to choose here? High concentration of estrogen. High concentration of